This is my first official video for YouTube. Let's call it Vlog 1. No edits, no fancy hardware, no nothing. Just gonna be raw. If I screw up, I screw up. It is what it is. But I want to talk about the OnePlus, and OnePlus is a company. OnePlus has been good to me personally. I've had every single OnePlus phone, excluding the, I want to say, 11, I think. Or maybe the 10, one of those two, I can't remember. Because I didn't really see the need to upgrade, and I didn't have the funding at the time to get it. But the OnePlus One, so I was OG, waiting for the red card, went through the whole process. It was exciting, to wait for that. Finally got it, loved it, great phone. They made great phones. I don't care what the reviews all said about the cameras suck. The cameras were on par with every single phone out currently. And right now I just left Best Buy, right here. And just for fun, they have a 15, and I just wanted to check it out. But they only have 2 left and nothing on display for me to test. And so I walked around and tested the cameras on the 17 Pro Max iPhone. The S26 Ultra I tested compared to the OnePlus 13, which is what I'm recording on right now. And I gotta say, the quality of the Samsung S26, not good. Not good at all. iPhone, honestly, picture for the 13 and the iPhone, very little difference. If anything, the iPhone had more AI editing and overexposure. And this Best Buy is very dark, and the lighting's very dim. So the iPhone does a great job of overexposing its surroundings to kind of show you a better picture clarity. Versus the OnePlus, which struggles in low light, which has always been a kind of a OnePlus thing. I don't know if it's a sensor issue or software issue. And my software just updated today to OxygenOS 16.05, I believe it is. So I'm testing it out. I don't know if they actually updated the cameras or not. I actually didn't look into it. I wish the phone companies, when they update it, would actually tell you exactly what they did after they updated it, like a nice little prompt, that'd be nice. But I just wanted to rant, I feel like a lot of these reviews that you see online are just honestly not honest. I'm talking some big name brands, and I think you all know who I'm talking about. They're all sellouts at this point, and they all bash OnePlus as a company. Nothing phone and OnePlus. 2 great phones. 2 companies that get pretty much bashed because they're not name brands anymore, or they're still considered new, new companies in this world. But like, I compared apples to apples, honestly. OnePlus 15 versus every current phone, the 26 Ultra and the Pro Max. Those are the 2 that I'm kind of basing this review off of. And OnePlus, bigger battery. It's a big deal for a lot of people, me included. For gaming, like the OnePlus 13, it's an okay phone, but it gets super hot while gaming and it drops frames. Even playing simple games as Roblox, for example. Me and my son play Rivals, and it gets super hot and laggy. Like, you immediately see it. Even with all the sensitivity and everything turned, and graphics turned low, it's not that it struggles. It's the fact that gaming is more produced for iPhones than Android, but that's another topic. I'll get to that on probably another rant video, I'm sure. But the OnePlus has a better camera, in my opinion, than the S26. The S26 has really nothing going for it other than the zoom. It can zoom out a little bit further, and the AI is a tiny bit more intrusive when you zoom in too far, meaning it'll over edit the video, and you'll know what I mean when you take a picture and you zoom in. It looks almost too good to be true, if that makes sense. And with OnePlus, it's just raw, honestly. The pictures come out really good. Sometimes take it multiple times, because the sensors, you have 4 sensors you got to remember, and the camera's trying to choose which sensor it wants to, take a picture with due to the environment that it's surrounded by. And I don't know. I'm not exactly a nerd in certain things, but I notice things with phones. And like I said, with all the OnePluses I've had and the Samsungs, Apples, I've tried Apple a little bit, and I can't do it personally. Just personal preference, I can't do it. The cartooniness of it, I can't. And the camera quality, I tested the 17 Pro Max versus my phone, the 13. I don't know. I just took 2 pictures side by side of a billboard, and I zoomed into the letters. And to give you context, it's a blue sign with Samsung in bright white letters. And the cameras struggle because it's dark and there's light facing it. So the cameras can't decipher light exposure. very well. So I zoomed in on the G, and the Gs were all very, very blurry. OnePlus included, but honestly, looking at the OnePlus, they did implement AI in the photography now, but it was just enough AI to make it clearer, better. So I don't know. I don't see all the hate on the OnePlus and the charge times. You're not going to beat a OnePlus right now in any U.S. market, any U.S. phone, you name it. Can't come close to the 15. Fastest charging, best battery life. The cameras are on par with all the name brands. I don't care. There's a few honest reviewers out there that'll actually tell you and show you comparisons. You won't tell the difference between a 13 OnePlus and a 15. The quality is very little. Hasselblad didn't do much for the 13, honestly, in my opinion. They basically just copied it for the 15 and relabeled it. That's just my personal opinion. But I love OnePlus, honestly. Like, if I could get my hands on a OnePlus 15, maybe once I make it and I can review phones and they send me one, I would gladly love to review it, because the 13's been a great phone. All my OnePluses have been great. I don't think I've ever had a serious problem with any of my OnePluses. The only reason I've upgraded any of them is just sheer boredom, or the price was right to upgrade. And when I did upgrade, there was 1 year I tried a Samsung S26 while I had a OnePlus at the same time, and I just couldn't do it. I don't know, something about the Samsung, they just don't have any soul. It's just very cartoony. Same as the iPhone, they're very cartoony. They're very not user-friendly, in my opinion. Like when you swipe down on a Samsung, you have to swipe over. I can't. That's too many processes. It shouldn't be that way. As for OnePlus, you can now enable it one swipe from anywhere on the screen, and it drops down your whole drawer. Samsung also implemented the same thing, but I don't know. It's too late for me in Samsung. And then cameras are important for a lot of people. The iPhone honestly isn't that great. Video wise, it's debatable. OnePlus, the camera quality is decent. The video quality in this phone, it's a 4-year-old phone, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. The video quality is not the greatest, but it's enough to make it through. The iPhone kind of, let's just say, they implement a lot more toward the photography side of stuff, not so much their OS. Their OS is pretty generic. There's not much to do to it, except for copy everybody else, obviously. We already know that. And they all copy each other. You can't say one doesn't copy the other. OnePlus has been doing it for years, but they do it in such a subtle way that it works. I have the alert slider button, for example. It's nice. You just click it in your pocket, mute, silent, vibrate when you don't need sound. They copied the iPhone because iPhone had the digital button, and now OnePlus is doing it, Samsung's doing it. Everyone's copying each other, basically. But that's why I like OnePlus. They made it subtle, but it worked. And then iPhone dropped it, like they dropped the physical slider button. OnePlus 13 was the last real OG phone that continued this trend. And just the 15 in general just makes sense on paper. Yeah, the resolution of the screen is a little bit lower than the 13, but I've seen it in person. You literally cannot see it with your naked eye. Like, it's very hard to see. And you get a better refresh rate on the 15 than any phone on the market, like US phone, top US phone. We're not talking the Asus and the gaming phones. Those have similar screens, but they're even capped off at 144, I believe. So OnePlus is still doing it right, 165 hertz. It doesn't work for everything, but it's still nice to have, right? You have the hydrophobic, or I think it's called hydrophobic screen, where if water hits the screen, it works flawlessly. It's actually kind of cool, because here where I live in PDX, Oregon, it rains all the time. My phone's always out in my hand. It gets rained on, I'm swiping. It works flawlessly. The finger unlock works great. All that's the same in the OnePlus 15. So, and you get a flat screen versus the 13, which is rounded bezeled. So what I'm trying to say is OnePlus, they make such a good phone. Fastest charging, in my opinion, better looking. They grip, like the texture of the phone is so cool. And I don't know, like just simple things like that. Like iPhone is generic. There's nothing special about it. Literally nothing special. You have MagSafe, big deal. Honestly, Android has the same thing for a lot of the phones. You can always buy a little strip and slap it in the back of your phone. You won't even notice it's there. It's a $10 fix if you can't live without MagSafe. I personally don't care for MagSafe. I do have it on this case that I'm using this phone on currently, but that's just because I bought the style of phone holder for this phone to do MagSafe on. But that's about it. MagSafe, somewhat better videography, somewhat better camera, and depending on who you ask and where you're at and the environment you're in. Low light, iPhone does a little better. Every other generic picture, I guarantee you most Android phones will do better. Just the AI right now integration has gotten so good on some of these phones to where it's really good. And I give OnePlus credit. I think I'll put some I'll do some roller shots and I'll do some video tests and stuff with the OnePlus when I get a laptop and I start posting better videos. But this will be vlog 1 in the books, you know. Maybe I'll just rant and this will be my thing. I want to do some reviews here and there in the future. I do buy a lot of tech, so for me, I don't want to be like every other person out there doing reviews where it's just reading off a list of the battery stuff and no actual good advice. But one thing I will add that not every phone has right now in the US currently is a dedicated Wi-Fi chip. So the OnePlus 15 has a dedicated Wi-Fi chip, which has been tested by several YouTubers. I personally have not tested it yet, but I'm dying to try it. The Wi-Fi chip is supposed to be super strong and super good, so which does help, especially if you live in the woods or wooded areas, you know, where you can't get good cell service. And with T-Mobile in general, T-Mobile works flawless on OnePlus. I've tested it. I don't know. I would say probably in about 8 years of testing phones and different brands and phone companies, I've switched from T-Mobile, Verizon to AT&T. Those are your only 3 choices you have here in the U.S. Visible Mobile, all that other nonsense, they still share all the same towers. So I can speak on their behalf. I've tested all of their networks. T-Mobile's just been the strongest for me here personally in Portland, and I don't think I'll ever change it, honestly. It's just been good to me. And I have service where people who have Verizon have no service. AT&T has been getting worse and worse in the Portland area for some reason, I've noticed, whilst T-Mobile's getting better. It still struggles here and there in buildings, but I'm only speaking of the OnePlus 13 struggling in general. Some buildings you walk into, the network connection speed on the OnePlus, you do lose service, I'll admit, but it catches it very quick. So some spots will be dead, but it'll catch itself, which is still pretty good, honestly, because some of these buildings are like super thick, so you can't really blame the phone. But the OnePlus 15 has a better chipset, better network chip, better Wi-Fi chip, so I'm honestly excited. Maybe when I make the next few update videos or review videos, I'll have a OnePlus 15 in my hand. I really want that, you know, so that I can relay it to you guys, whoever's watching, honestly. You know, I'd appreciate a subscribe, a comment, anything, just to get me going. You know, it's something I always wanted to do. I have a passion for it. That plus cars. So we'll see what happens with this channel.